Lillian, I don't know what to say. You look... Megan, are you okay? Oh.
I think my dress was probably just tight.
Oh, my God. You got food poisoning from that restaurant, didn't you?
No, I had the same thing that she had, and I feel fine.
Oh, my. Okay.
Oh, no.
What is happening? Nothing's happening. Oh, my God.
You know, I don't really care which dress we get. It doesn't matter to me. I just need to get off this white carpet.
No, okay. No, not the bathroom. Everybody, go outside. I'm serious. There's a bathroom across the street.
Hello, welcome to the Bench Movie Club. My name is Ben.
My name is Charlie.
And today we are going to be reviewing the 2011 comedy Bridesmaids.
Directed by Paul Feig, who directed Freaks and Geeks, Spy, The Heat, Last Christmas, and loads of other films with Melissa McCarthy.
This is what catapulted her into sort of stardom with everyone, isn't it? Because I don't remember a film of hers before this.
No, and I think this with particular scenes with Ben Falcone, her husband, who's in loads of stuff with her.
That's nice. I think that's nice. Most films that she's in, there's a thing that they're always in a scene together. And like he was there from before they got married. Like since they've been married, so I think this was the first sort of big thing. So and I think they're in adverts now and everything. So it's funny that it's nice that he sort of travels along with her, you know, and he's on the journey with her.
Yeah, and like the scene at the end, the mid-credit scene where them are in bed together. You can imagine that's something that they sort of came up with. Yeah, and they thought this is fantastic. This is really funny. Let's have this.
They are funny. They're a funny couple together. The story is about a woman's best friend who's getting married, and there's all that the problems that arise when she has like competition with another friend. Yes, who keeps trying to sort of outdo her all the time, and it's some really good bits in it. Anyway, so it sort of leads up to like the wedding. But there's some funny scenes, some really good characters. So I just thought I picked this one because it's a nice feel good film.
It stars Kristen Wiig, who's in Knocked Up, Walk Hard, Wonder Woman 1984, Maya Rudolph from Grown Ups, Wine Country, Disenchanted, Rose Byrne, who's in some of the later X-Men films, Peter Rabbit films, 28 Weeks Later, and she's also in Spy alongside Melissa McCarthy, who's in this, who's in, of course, Identity Thief, The Heat, The Boss. Chris O'Dowd from the IT Crowd. Yeah. Cuban Fury, Cloverfield Paradox. John Hamm, who's most well known for Mad Men TV series, but he's also in Baby Driver, The Town. Jill Clayburgh, who's in Running with Scissors, Starting Over. I think this was her last film. She's her mother.
Yes, that's correct.
She died before the film was released.
Yeah, because they actually cut some scenes out that were quite funny, but they was quite rude, like sort of jokes and stuff. But they cut out because out of respect for thinking it's probably the last thing she's done, and they didn't want to sort of
be disrespectful to her. Right, okay. You've also got Rebel Wilson and Matt Lucas as a brother and sister. So Rebel Wilson's from like Pitch Perfect, Jojo Rabbit, Pain and Gain, and Matt Lucas, of course, from Little Britain, Alice in Wonderland, and Wonka, which has just come out.
Is she supposed to be English?
She's supposed to be. I think she's Australian.
She's Australian in real life. You can tell she's Australian, but a lot of people probably think, I know that we are mistaken for being Australian whenever you go to America.
Yeah, if you're a Londoner.
People always go, oh, you're from Australia, all the time.
Londoners in particular have that. You've also got a small part of Terry Crews at the beginning. He's the guy doing the working out at the very beginning. Remember, they're trying to get a workout for free in the park?
Yes, I recognise his face.
He's in Expendables, White Chicks, Idiocracy. Is he in
Scary Movie and stuff like that? No. I know his face from something else. I haven't seen any of them films.
Well, White Chicks is from the guys, the Wayans brothers, who made
that. I think I might have seen it.
He's in loads of things, Terry Crews. He's become...
Yeah, I recognise his face. I think I know, obviously, for something other than what you've just mentioned. But I recognised him. I really like this film because it's just a nice feel-good film.
Well, it's not at first. I mean, up until the very end, it's sort of very like, oh, God, you feel frustrated for her.
But it's funny because, all the things that keeps going wrong, you know, but it's nice. And, it's just, I thought so what did you think of this film? Because I know the last time you see this film, you had sort of quite bad memories about it.
Yeah, because the last time I saw this, I separated from my wife December 2011, and it was literally 6 days before Christmas. It was about a week before Christmas, and on Christmas Day, one of the things that I'd got her, I used to get her loads of little presents, and one of the things I'd got her was Bridesmaids, the DVD, because I knew she wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And I'd hidden inside this bracelet. So then on Christmas Day, I'd forgot about this, I'd wrapped it all, and then on Christmas Day she's opened it, so, oh, thanks, and it was all awkward because we knew we were separating, and me, her and her sister sat down and watched Bridesmaids, and I sat there with my arms crossed, just really pissed off, like thinking, wish I hadn't bought you anything now, you know. So then watching the film, it's hard to sort of really get into it.
But now you're over that.
Well then, again, I started watching it last night, and then I had a friend of mine who then phoned me about 10 minutes in saying, I've got problems with my husband and stuff like that, and I thought, oh, for God's sake, I felt as if the film had cursed me, as if I should never watch the film again, because every time I watch it, something really bad happens. But then once I got over that and got back, I started watching the film, and I think it was I was enjoying it. I wasn't laughing. It weren't until I think maybe the plane scene. I think Kristen Wiig is really good.
Brilliant. She's brilliant in it.
I know loads of people.
Kristen Wiig.
Sorry. I know Melissa McCarthy is often cited because where it's her sort of debut, but Kristen Wiig, who co-wrote this, her performance in it, I think, is better than everyone else's.
Oh, she's
really funny.
Out. She's fantastic.
Yeah, like some of the things
she's really comedy. She's a really good comedy actress.
Yeah, like her facial expressions and like when she's sort of like mouthing to other people or sort of doing the little sort of Hitler thing on the plane and everything. Yeah, when
she's all like sort of all drugged up on the train on the plane, and she's sitting there going, "And Mrs. Ingleses" or something like that. And his wife and all this kind of stuff like.
Miss?
No, it's not me.
Yes, it is you. Please go back to your seat.
Yes, I'm with him. I'm a Mrs. Iglesias. Mrs. Iglesias?
No, you're not. You were just out here and you put sunglasses on. Out.
But I don't want to.
Yeah, you can tell she took a while writing it. She was like working on things and constantly going back and forth with Paul Feig and Judd Apatow, who produced it, who produced loads of films of this nature at the time. But you could see she'd really put a stamp on it. She put a lot of heart and soul into this, and I think her performance is
she's
best.
A brilliant comedy actress.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's a shame, really. I wouldn't know her by name. No. I know her from this film. Now she should be up there with like the Melissa McCarthys. There should be like Kristen Wiig should be in this like sort of like, you know how we know Melissa McCarthy's name. I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
Apart from in this until like when I was doing the reviews of it, then looking, oh, that's her, Kristen Wiig. But I should know her name because she is that good.
Yeah, she's really, and she's believable as well. It's like when there's the scene where Rose Byrne, who's also really good in this. Yeah. Who they put her in the part, but she actually brought a lot more to it than they thought she was gonna. Like,
which one's Rose Byrne again?
Rose Byrne is the other friend, the one she's competing with.
Yes.
So like
the dark-haired one,
like the scenes where they're doing the speech. Yeah. And they keep trying to outdo each other. Rose Byrne, like there was a lot of improvisation, which they often do with this thing, and they were surprised how well Rose Byrne was doing because before this she'd done mainly loads of dramatic roles.
Yeah, she's done like things like Insidious and all that kind of stuff, and quite like high drama.
But since then, they'd given her a lot more comedic things to do because they could see she was good at improvising and stuff like that. I think all the cast is a great ensemble. Yeah. I think it's a shame in a way that Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Rose Byrne all do so well because you often forget about the other actresses in there.
But they're all good.
They're all good.
There's not one that you go, oh, she's a bit.
We could do without her.
They're all good. They're all good actresses.
Yeah. There's not too many bridesmaids.
No.
There's the right amount of bridesmaids because
I like it at the party at the beginning. They keep going, oh, is this your husband? Like.
I don't remember
at the beginning, the beginning of the party when she first goes to the reception and she goes to the reception on her own, Kristen Wiig, and then she there's that young bride, the ditzy one, and she's with her husband. They're talking about how much in love they are, and she's standing there, but there's some random sort of fat bald bloke standing next to her, that Kristen Wiig, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, is this your husband?" And she looks at him, she goes, "No, like I'm on my own," and he's sort of.
I didn't see that scene.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not in the version I watched. I don't remember that scene at all.
Really?
Yeah. I watched it this morning.
Oh, right.
I watched it like last night.
Well,
this morning,
I'll show you that again. And then also, she meets Melissa McCarthy, I think, for the first time in like the... And she meets Melissa McCarthy for the first time, and there's this really tall black guy there, and she goes, "Oh, is this your husband?" She's like, "No," like she keeps getting paired off with any bloke that's standing next to her.
Sorry, is this your husband? No, 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 I don't know him. I'm sorry.
Do you want to go for a walk later?
Oh, I can't.
All right.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm
not.
so sorry.
I'm not with anybody. I'm here solo.
Shut my mouth. Look at unbelievable. You must be Annie's fella. I'm Megan. It's a pleasure.
Oh,
Well.
he's not. I'm not with him. Sorry.
Oh, all right. I'm glad he's single because I'm going to climb that like a tree.
Yeah, you seen that bit?
No, I don't know.
See, the thing is as well, that's another thing. The version I watched was about 5 minutes or 6 or 7 minutes longer than the other version that I put onto a disc. Because I had two, and I thought, hang on, that one's about 6 or 7 minutes longer.
But that sounds quite a funny scene. I don't know why they would cut it out necessarily.
Yeah, no, I'll show you it. It is quite funny. It's quite funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, you'd remember it. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many funny bits in this film. Like, she's... I mean, as I say, I think Kristen Wiig is that she definitely is... She's top of her game in this film.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more this time round.
So you haven't got PTSD from it then? You haven't sort of didn't bring back any old memories?
I'll be honest with you, for the first 10, 15 minutes... I was watching things, I thought, I know this is what people find funny, but I'm not laughing at all.
Yeah.
And it weren't until, I'm trying to remember the exact moment I actually laughed, and I think it might have been on the plane.
Yeah.
I think it might have been on the plane. It might have been a bit before that.
The food poisoning bit's quite funny when she sits there.
Yeah.
Goes, I'm hungry. She's got the sweat dripping off her face.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there going, I'm actually, I don't feel it.
I could do
at all.
if anything, I'm hungry. Yeah. Well,
it's like, I love all that kind of stuff. It's really funny. She's brilliant, really good.
See, that was a scene I think Judd Apatow really pushed for, because Kristen Wiig was wanting it to be more vocal humour. It was more sort of like subtle humour, between them. But Judd Apatow wanted that gross out, over the top humour, so he was really pushing for like more scenes like that. And they relented a little bit, and they had that bit where they're all throwing up. But
it is funny.
It is funny. It works because the rest of the film isn't all like that.
Yeah.
So when that does happen, you think, oh God. Like,
I know she wasn't really on board with that so much.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she must look at it now and go, right, well, it is.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's worked out well.
Yeah. Well, this was really well received. Film. I think it was like the highest grossing film of its nature.
Yeah.
Of a female led comedy.
Yeah. Well, the film Knocked Up was responsible for the Bridesmaids concept because Kristen Wiig's performance in that. So obviously that's what inspired the film Bridesmaids.
Now, I've seen Knocked Up, I remember it. I think I watched it like a year or so after it came out, and I remember it vaguely. But there was loads of these types of films back to back to back.
Yeah.
And I've seen even the remake of the Ghostbusters, the Paul Feig one, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not going to start bashing it, but I'm not a fan of it. I know Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy are both in that.
Yeah, Paul Rudd was in a scene that was cut.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be on a date with Annie at an ice rink, but they actually cut it because I think they didn't want to concentrate too much of her going on other dates. I think they tried with one date with the bloke with the son.
Yes.
And she's sitting there, and he's like sitting there all awkward, and she overhears you upstairs going, I want to be with you. Guys, well, she's not even pretty, and all this kind of stuff. So I think they sort of showed that she is out on the dating scene. They didn't want to concentrate too much of her going on other dates.
Yeah.
Because she's got that booty call bloke.
And then she's got Chris O'Dowd.
And Chris O'Dowd. Which is, I like him. I think he's brilliant in it.
I think he's really good.
And it's an unusual leading man because of his accent as well, because he's from Ireland. And he was originally going to be American because he can do an American accent, but then
they loved his accent, so they said, "I'll just keep it Irish."
Yeah, and he likes doing doing his real accent once if he can in a film. He likes to do his mother tongue, basically.
I find this sometimes, especially when it comes to comedy and light entertainment, it's better to let them speak in their own accents.
Yeah.
Because then they can be more naturally funny. Yeah. If you're constantly having to think, I've got to put on an American accent, you think of something really funny, you've now got to say it in an accent which isn't familiar to you. Like, I always find it a bit befuddling when you sort of watch a film like... I remember back in the day, there's an animated film called Robots, and the lead in it was Ewan McGregor. And Ewan McGregor's putting on an American accent. And I think, what's the point of getting a voice actor who's Scottish to put on an American accent for this thing? Is it literally just for the cachet that his name carries?
Yeah.
You know, it's silly. You should let sometimes, with films like this, if it's a serious role and they want to do another accent, fine. But if it's comedy... especially with films like this where they let a lot of improvisation, it's much better to let them say, speak in your own accent, because that way, if you think of something funny...
Like when he goes, oh, come on, like sort of thing, he's doing it in his own voice. Yeah. So it is, a lot of the stuff comes across a lot better than probably it would have done if he had to add the American accent.
And it works a lot more in his favour because he's not what you'd say traditionally good-looking or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got John Hamm, who's like, there was a heartthrob at the time, especially with Mad Men. John Hamm actually said he didn't want his name on the credits because
is he the one at the beginning? He's the booty call.
He's the booty call, but because he was more known for serious roles, he said, don't put me on it because don't put my name on it because it will distract people thinking as if I'm serious. I'd want to just sort of, and he's funny in it. He's good.
He is really funny.
You know, he's good as like this arsehole bloke, but you know
he's sort of like out of Wedding Singer. He's like Glenn out of Wedding Singer type of character, isn't he?
But if you ask like most women if they pick between John Hamm and Chris O'Dowd, they'd pick John Hamm. Yeah. But this shows how someone's personality and good nature could win over.
Oh yeah, I think anyone would choose Chris O'Dowd over John Hamm, even though John Hamm's the rich, good-looking bloke, but he's like the nice. There's more substance to Chris O'Dowd. You know,
of course. Well, the
aesthetic side of things will just get boring after a while because there's only so much he can do.
Yeah, and like the other guy's just trying to kick her out. So obviously, when she spends the night with Chris O'Dowd and he does that nice gesture of getting all the bacon stuff.
Yeah.
And she sort of throws it back in his face.
Yeah.
You think that's a result of the way she's been treated.
Yeah, because he sits there going, oh, I'm really awkward, it's a bit awkward. I was wanting to ask you to leave, sort of thing. Like, and she's like, oh, okay, like, it must be
I don't want to seem like a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays it well because you think, if it was too over the top, like, what are you doing here? Get out. You think, well, why would she part with that? But he gives enough, like, as if, like, he's being really sort of, oh, you know, I'd love for you to be here, but you really got to go kind of thing. And you think, he's a bit of an arse, but it's hard for her to see because she's obviously attracted to him and she hasn't got much other options. So then when Chris O'Dowd comes along and she has this actual response with him, and one of the things they've done for the film to show the connection is her sex scenes with John Hamm. She wears her bra,
yes,
and when with Chris O'Dowd she doesn't, to show as if like there's more of a connection there.
Yeah. Also, Rebel Wilson auditioned for Melissa McCarthy's role.
Oh, okay.
But I like hers and Matt Lucas's bits in it because, like when she gets the tattoo of the worm thing, like
pouring peas on it,
and you just sort of see, I think they're a funny little comedy, like extra, you know, that works well in the film.
It just shows you where she's living, a normal life outside of all of this.
And did you also know the Bridesmaids co-writer? She was the woman that played the nervous flyer next to her on the plane, and the reason why she didn't have a bigger part in the film is because she was like heavily pregnant, because she was going to be one of the other characters. I think she probably would have been another bridesmaid, but it was her and Kristen Wiig was the ones that actually wrote
so when
it.
they're sitting next to each other, I knew she was in it, but I didn't know who she was.
Because she was there every day on set watching, and she goes, and what happened was a week and a half after it wrapped, she gave birth. So she was heavily pregnant, but she wanted to be in it, but she was originally going to have a bigger role, which I reckon would have been one of the other bridesmaids.
Well, you could tell from the small part that she had. You could tell she had good comedy in her because, like, she said, I had a nightmare last night and you was in it. If you were scared of flying, that would just tip you over watch.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's some really funny little lines in it. Yeah, a lot of it is on the plane. Oh, did you also know that they originally was going to, which I always thought, why haven't they? Is they was originally going to Vegas and they was going to have like a sort of bachelorette type of thing in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was just before, just after Hangover, and it was too similar to the Hangover, so they cut that. which I could see that I was thinking they're going to Vegas. I was thinking they're not going to go to Vegas then to fly back. Something's going to happen in Vegas, but I think it was so close to the Hangover that they was like, oh, that's it. It's ruined our idea now.
No, I think they've done the right thing if not doing Vegas again, because I remember seeing Hangover before this.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. But the Vegas thing hadn't been done at that point. But it's by the time it was released, Hangover had just come out. So then it would look like they was copying it.
Yeah, and cynically, I remember when it's coming out thinking, oh, this is like a female Hangover. It's going to be, without even seeing it, because
that's exactly what people would have thought, and that's why they didn't go with it.
Because obviously Hangover's about a stag party.
Yeah.
And this one's... So they're like spiritual siblings. I love the Hangover. The first Hangover's great. So I'm glad. And what happened it ended up, because they thought, right, well, how are we going to do this? Let's have it that she overreacts and the plane gets taken down. That's one of the highlights of the film, anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you got Melissa McCarthy trying to out the guy as a field marshal, as a marshal on the plane.
Her husband,
Yes, and sticking her leg up that high. Which is very impressive, anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's when you started noticing she was going to be more prominent in it. Yeah. And you had the other two. So you had the woman who's got children who can't stand them, and you've got the other woman who's sort of naive and not really had much experience. So I do think it's a good balance. They're obviously like the smaller parts.
Yeah.
But obviously the star of the show is Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
And I think it's believable. You can see her jealousy rising.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to say it, and it's literally when she mentions at the meal, oh, she's always wanted to go to Paris.
Yeah.
So when she does the Rose Byrne's character does the big reveal, I'm taking her to Paris. You can see it just building up on her face.
Fuck's sake, really?
I think the timing of her explosion, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Is right.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, you obviously empathise with the main character, and you're thinking, oh, you've got to say something. You've got to say something. You can't let that go, because I understand the things previously, biting your lip, thinking, she's really winding me up. She's keep trying to one up me with like the tennis and everything.
It is funny. It is funny. Also, Rebel Wilson and Matt Lucas became real life flatmates in a swanky apartment in West Hollywood.
Oh, really?
After this, yeah.
I would have thought they'd been flatmates in London, only because where he's more British based. Although I suppose he did. It was around about that time he started doing more Hollywood films, like the Alice in Wonderland films. He was Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Well, they got on so well because during the filming they lived together.
Right.
They stayed together, and then so there was obviously a connection there.
They've probably got a similar sense of humour anyway, you know. The whole cast spent about 2 weeks improvising with each other, a lot of which has been incorporated into the movie.
Yeah. Oh, also, which I liked about this, which I think you like as well, because you appreciate this, Kristen Wiig will never write a sequel.
Yeah.
Because she says it ends perfectly. She goes, it's all there. It's all there. She goes, you don't need to sort of ruin it, because when you go to a sequel, when you go to a sequel, you have to then sort of damage it to then bring it back up again.
Yeah.
You know, something has to go wrong for it to then lift for the rest of the story. So she's like, this is the story's told. It's like, you know that they're going to end up together, her and the copper, and it's all sorted out. She's even sorted it out with
her friend,
and because the other one, what's her name, the Rose Byrne's character.
Yeah, because the Maya Rudolph character obviously has got married and moved off, and you got that little bit where they sort of look at each other and smile as she gets in the car. So I think the main story of the film is sort of letting go to someone. Yeah. You know, whether it's not a romantic setting, but it's like her best friend for her whole life, her best friend, and it's hard to say goodbye to someone knowing you have to. You know it's the right thing. You know she's happy. Yeah. But she sort of feels like she's being left behind. Yeah. And there's probably millions of people who've gone through that experience. They're sort of holding on to their wild, exciting days of them sort of listening to Wilson Phillips Hold On, which the director had never heard. He'd never heard that, and it was on their insistence. No, this is the song, and I think it's
that was a good little bit for the end. I like the dancing and all that kind of stuff.
And you can see she's giving that Rose Byrne a dirty look, and she acknowledges, "Look, this is the last one, I promise."
She's like, really? Yeah. She's like, last one, I promise. But it's like they have a connection as well in the end. You know, which is quite nice. You sort of see that they're probably going to be friends.
And I do feel sorry for the Rose Byrne character, more so this time. I mean, I think the first time I watched it, as I said, I weren't really in a laughing mood. I was just watching thinking, oh, what bitch she is. But you can actually see from her point of view, because she's got a life where she's with this man who's hardly there.
Yeah,
his kids hate her, swear at her. She's got no female friends, so obviously she's met this
Lillian,
the one getting married.
Lillian.
She's met Lillian and thought, wow, she's a really great person, and really enjoyed it, and thinking she's going to be my best friend. So obviously when Lillian's got an old established best friend, you can imagine her being a bit jealous and thinking, let me oust her a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a nasty person.
No, I don't. And it ain't like, oh, she gets her comeuppance. In the end, you do sort of feel sorry for her. You always see, like, when she sort of breaks down, and that's when I think you see, like, Kristen Wiig sort of looks and sort of feels a little bit like, sorry for her in a way.
Yeah, but I think that I think that's sort of an underrated part, is where she's in the car and she's going, no, I don't think it was the food didn't make us sick, because there's so many. How many times have you seen situations, and not being sexist, particularly with women, when they will lie just to make the other person feel better? She knows that it was the food, but she's going, no, I don't think it was the food, because she's trying to get that moment where the connection between them, saying as if like, oh,
it's like we can't fight no more, we should really sort of join together.
We should be friends, and that Kristen Wiig is sort of looking at her thinking, okay, I can see that you are just a flawed person as well. She comes across as if like this young, beautiful, sort of held together person with all this money, but she's using the money to sort of almost buy a friend. Yeah. She's going,
and she's as damaged as the rest of them.
Yeah, and she's thinking, oh, she likes that? Okay, I'll get that. And she's trying to undermine Kristen Wiig's part, only because for her own survival.
So then she gets a little bit of an upper hand at the end, Kristen Wiig, and she sort of starts to get a bit of her power back, and then when she goes up to the apartment and sees her friend, and then they sort of, it's like they let it all go, all the problems of the build up to the wedding, it's sort of suddenly let go, and it's like they remembered the reason why they're friends, and then she puts on that hideous dress and they both laugh at it and they're like, right, okay, look, we'll sort that out. So it's like they get their friendship back. So it's a lovely ending, and I love the fact that at the very end she ends up with a copper. I know it's cliche, but I just love that kind of nice feel good. It's nice to have something that makes you smile at the end.
You think, and it also gives hope to someone. If someone's going through a rough time, then you think it will pass. Yeah,
because it always does.
Yeah,
you give it time, it will pass. It will. Sometimes it just doesn't feel like things are going to change. Yeah, but things will change. Things will always change.
Yeah, it's like I often think that, say, like right now it's the winter, and I love the summer at the moment. My point in my life, I really like the hot weather where you sort of walking about, you ain't got every top on, you just walk about thinking, it's this lovely hot weather, what a beautiful day this is, drinking out in the park or whatever, all this nice stuff. But right now we're in the winter, and what gets me through it, I just think, well, this will pass. Yeah. Don't worry about it, don't look at the clock, carry on with your life, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden you'll have sunny days, hot days, and you think, this is really nice. Yeah.
See, I like all the seasons though.
I love all the seasons.
I like the fact that we have got all the seasons, because you get to a season and it gets towards the end and you're looking forward to the next season. Yeah. And then like with the winter side is the hardest part, because then you're going, oh God, but then you've got all the good to come. I think you've got spring, summer, then autumn again, so it's nice. Yeah. Did you know the argument with the teenager in the shop was actually 10 minutes long and it was completely improvised? You can see the actual full version of it apparently on the DVD.
And do you know who that teenager was?
No.
Well, she was actually Mia Rose Frampton. She's the daughter of Peter Frampton.
Who's that?
He's a musician. He sings, "Ooh, baby, I love you." He wrote that.
Oh, okay.
And
I wouldn't know him by name though. Is he from a band then?
No, he was huge in America. He's a British artist, but he's really huge in America. He's been in Simpsons.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well,
so that was supposed to be your thing where I say you go, no, was it? Basically,
okay.
Who's that?
Okay. Also, there's a scene that I clocked as well when she's in bed with a booty call. Yeah. And she's asking him to the wedding like casually, and he goes, "Oh no, I can't." She goes, "Oh no, I was right. I've been someone else is interested in me at the moment anyway, and his name is George Glass. Yeah. George Glass. Yes. And that's from a scene from Brady Bunch that then was put in the Brady Bunch movie. It's like when Jan sort of sits there making up a boyfriend, and she calls him George Glass.
Maya Rudolph was pregnant with her third child during the filming of this movie.
Okay.
And most of the clothes that she wore had a belt on them to distract from her stomach.
Right.
And I think they do it well because I'd never noticed the first time, and even knowing that, watching it last night, I thought, oh yeah, they do hide that well.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, you don't even look at it and go, oh, you can see that scene, she's pregnant in that scene.
Considering she's wearing wedding dresses as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So your ultimate feeling of the film, Charles?
I prefer it more now, obviously, over the last time.
You appreciate it, you appreciate it now?
Yeah.
For what it's supposed to be?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. I thought you would. As I say, the last time you see it, as you said, and you had bad memories that was attached to it, and then so them memories are like, you can let that go now because that's such a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you're not in love with your wife no more.
I never sort of... it's not so much that I associate the film with that, but you can't help sometimes when there's sort of traumatic things in your life and something happens, whether it's a song playing or whether... Like... You know, I don't want to get depressing or anything, but there's a song from Dirty Dancing called Hungry Eyes.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear that on the radio, I switch it over. I think, I feel sorry for someone I don't even know. Because there was a story back in the day where there was a drinking, like this, it was like a party, house party, and they was doing this drinking thing where every time it says Hungry Eyes, you had to take a shot.
Yeah.
And they say Hungry Eyes a lot in that song, and the boy who was doing it ended up dying from alcohol poisoning.
Oh, okay.
And I always think about the parents.
Yeah.
And I think the parents, obviously this out in the news, so the parents know that. So every time that song comes on the radio, they must think, oh, got to switch it off. It must remind them in a horrible way.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't know that, yeah. There's lots of stuff, I suppose, associates with bad feelings for people. Yeah. Right.
Something else I'd noticed this, I knew this firsthand, the very first time I see it, and I noticed it the second time as well, and I also see it on the trivia, so it's true. The house where she does the big French party, and they've got a cookie, the exterior is the exact same exterior from Scary Movie 2. You know, when they go to Hell House, and it's got the knocker with the man's balls on it and stuff. Yeah. It looks like a little mini castle thing, and I remember seeing it, because it weren't that long after Scary Movie 2. Yeah. The vomit they used was a mixture of oatmeal and food colouring.
Well, that's funny when they're sitting there just spitting it all out, and Melissa McCarthy
sits in the toilet in the sink.
Yeah, it's like...
And you think that poor woman who's running the place didn't want to let him in the first place. Yeah. And is thinking, this is why we don't let certain people in here. And then there's the woman...
And they're all wearing the dresses.
And the other one throws up on her head.
Yeah.
She's trying to get to the toilet.
And then there's that other one. There's the other one, she goes running into the street and shits in the street with the big white wedding dress on.
Oh, shit. I need the toilet! I need the toilet! Oh, God, I need the toilet! No. No, Megan. No! No! Look away! Megan, no! Look away! Oh!
It's like, that is probably just like the worst day of that bridal boutique's life.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Get away from me!
No, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. Like you sort of mentioned, I do feel as if Kristen Wiig should be... I know she gets a lot of work. I know she's, it's not like as if she's struggling or anything. She gets a lot of work. But most people would know Melissa McCarthy before her, and I don't think that's necessarily fair.
What did we eat? Oh, sinks are goner! What are you doing? It's coming out of me like lava! Don't you fucking look at me!
Because
I think she's brilliant, Melissa McCarthy.
I think Melissa McCarthy gets the right amount of attention that she sort of deserves. But I just feel as if Kristen Wiig, I'm just saying, like I see that Wonder Woman 1984 that she was the villain in, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
And she always delivers. You can tell she's a great actress, and she's obviously a fantastic comedic actress.
Well, this shows her talents massively in this film, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to bug me because I know there's a famous scene that keeps coming up on TikTok with her and an actor who's in the new It films. She's in a film with Bill Hader from 2014 called The Skeleton Twins, which is having both coincidentally cheated death on the same day, strange twins reunite with the possibility of mending their friendship. And there's a famous scene, I haven't actually seen the film, but I know there's a scene that comes up on TikTok all the time where Bill Hader's character is trying to sort of cheer her up, and he's miming to that song, which is a very famous song. It was an advert, and Lillian used to go, "It's me and Albie." So he's trying to cheer her up to "Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now" by Starship. You know that song, don't you?
Yeah.
And he's miming the male parts, and he looks at her and she's just sort of there giving him a dirty look, and eventually he wins her over and she starts miming along to it. And even though I've only ever seen that scene from the film, you think it's really well played.
I might watch that because I like her.
Yeah, and he's really good.
I might give that a go then.
Bill Hader's really good. You might not know him by name, but you'll know him by face. When you see him in the film, you go, oh yeah, I know him. He's been in loads of comedic films.
I'll give that a go then.
Yeah.
Right, IMDb, this got 6.8 out of 10, which is okay, acceptable. Rotten Tomatoes, it got 89% by the critics and a 76% by the audience. Now, I would have thought the audience would have been higher than the critics.
I think the reason for that is you get loads of knee-jerk reaction to things. Melissa McCarthy, because of the amount of work she got after this, she got loads of work after this. She was constantly film. There's a reaction from audience sometimes. If people don't get her, they get sick of her being rammed down their throat, and they'll go, oh, she's in another film. Now she's in...
This was the first film.
I know.
So why would that affect her star in this?
Because what happens with audience reactions, it happens afterwards. Critic reaction will happen immediately when the film comes out. So the film would have come out, the critics would have gone, oh, we don't know who that actress is, but she's really good in it. You know, and they think, oh, the film's really good. But then when years later, especially the IMDb score would be affected by this, people who then start, like, especially after the Ghostbusters film, which was really panned, they sometimes retroactively, they go back to their previous work and they go, I'm going to give that 1 star, I'm going to give that 1 star, I'm going to slag that off.
People really do that?
People do.
Okay.
People can be really sort of vindictive and sort of petty.
And got nothing better to do.
No, I mean, like, if you'd ask George, he'd go, oh, I don't like her. I don't think this is the film. Like, if George was on this podcast right now, it would have been completely different.
No, but he don't like these kind of films, does he?
Exactly.
That's why we can do this, because we're both like the films. Some of the films that you show me, I wouldn't necessarily go and watch, but then I can appreciate them for what they are. Like we're saying, with vice versa. There's certain films that you wouldn't watch, but you can look and go, okay, I can see where you're coming from with that film. Whereas our other brother, I don't think he would like a lot of the stuff that I would like.
No, I don't think he likes Melissa McCarthy. But it's one of those things he would automatically, I don't want to watch anything with her in, I don't want to watch anything with him in. He's sort of like, and I think that's like a general thing about people in general, like, it's certain, like, there might be films you go, oh, I don't want to watch films with Tom Cruise in or Tom Hanks or something like that. Yeah. You have this stigma around it, and I think loads of people do have that after this about particularly Melissa McCarthy, which I don't think is
I don't know why, because I thought she's a good actress.
Yeah, but some people
she comes across nice and she's funny. So
yeah, the thing is, for example, see with Identity Thief,
I like her in that.
I didn't like her in that.
Oh, I liked her in that.
She really peed me off, and I think it's where I really like Jason Bateman, and I was thinking, oh, that would so annoy me. But she comes good though in it, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. But when she's ripping him off, and she has the audacity to sort of get really annoyed that he's found her out, and go, how dare you don't know what kind of life I go. No, hold on a sec. You've stolen this person's identity. You're lucky he doesn't punch you in the face.
That's only a small part of it, isn't it?
I know, but it's one of those things.
Across, I like that Identity Thief. I think that's one of her better ones. I like The Heat as well and Spy.
Yeah,
with they're all good.
Yeah. But see, like with Spy, you got Jason Statham in it, haven't you?
Yes.
And you're not a huge fan. Sometimes
I like him in Lockstock, but since he's gone over to America and he starts doing the same kind of roles, and I don't like his American accent.
Well, he doesn't do an American accent in that.
Yeah, but I think he does a lot, and it's really not good. He should just basically keep his normal accent.
But this is what I'm saying. So it's instinctively for people to sort of have certain actors and actresses they think, I'm not a huge fan of it. They grate on me. It's the same as sometimes you meet a person and you've got no reason not to like them.
Yeah.
And yet you go, oh, I want to spend less time with that person.
Yeah.
I've got to work with them. And they haven't actually said or done anything specifically, but something about their personality just clashes with yours, and you think, I don't like being around that person.
I'm quite good at picking up on people like that, you know. Like usually, if I get an instinct with someone, I should always stick with my gut instinct because it always turns out to be the right one. I'm quite good at picking up on.
But do you not think that's just because
people
that they won't gel with you? You won't like that person.
No, because sometimes I'll meet someone and initially I'm like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden I get really friendly with her and everything. Then it turns out, no, I should have stuck with my first impression, really, because it turns out they weren't right, the right person for me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's I'm quite good. I've got quite good intuition, I think. But anyway, yes, the budget of this film was 32.5 million.
That's a lot.
But it made 306.4 million.
Well, that's good. So that's
a real good.
That's a good return.
Yeah, really good return. Really good return.
Yeah, that is a good return. And I think, I like I touched on it, it's considered one of the most successful female-led comedies ever.
I could watch it again. I easily watch it again. It's a nice, easy film to stick on in the background, and it's got a nice happy ending. I like films with happy endings.
Okay, so that was Bridesmaids.
Right.
So next week it'll be Valentine's Day, so we stick with the rom-coms.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick the Billy Wilder classic The Apartment from 1960, starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine.
Right, okay.
Have you seen it?
No, I've never seen that one.
Right, okay. Well, I'm sure you'll like it, because you like Some Like It Hot. And
I
it's
do
the same
like Some Like It
director,
Hot.
same actor, so we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so
All
thanks
right.
for listening.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
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 Wow, it looks like somebody's really relaxing now.
Yeah, wow. What are you guys talking about up here?
We are,
We're going to a restaurant tonight. I know the owner, so it's just
You
coming.
do? Oh, Helen is the